Hello and welcome back to Nomios 101. Today's episode, I am privileged to be joined by Colin Evans from Juniper, Global Business Development for SP. Now, you may recognize Colin because we have spoken to him before. Back at Connected Britain, the event in September, we had a quick chat with Colin about, well, specifically the MX204. And at the time, Colin, it was going end of life, but I believe there's been an update. So would you be able to elaborate?
Yeah, I prefer to call it end of sale, since end of life basically means the product wouldn't be supported, which it would. The really good news is that the MX204 is now going to continue to be available. We've managed to secure a lot more components for these platforms, and we're actually able to extend its life for the foreseeable future. So it will be available for a number of years yet before we have to do anything on that.
Excellent news. That is fantastic news. I know our customers will be pleased as well, but equally us, it's a great product and we love to sell it. We also spoke briefly about the ACX program or the ACX series. We talked about it being a potential replacement for the MX204. And I'd like to actually show our viewers a quick excerpt from a video with Brendan Gibbs from Juniper. So let's take a quick look at the video.
At Juniper Networks, we're reimagining your metro network by enabling sustainable business growth through our innovative Cloud Metro solution, powered by cloud-delivered automation as a service with integrated artificial intelligence. Metro traffic is projected to grow by an astounding 500% per year through 2027, and at the same time become the springboard for distributed service delivery to customers. This dramatic change forces new capacity needs, new traffic patterns, and new network architectures, all of which require a new sustainable approach for the future. That's the Cloud Metro, where connectivity, cloud, and customer experiences converge.
Wow, Colin, that's quite a mouthful. That's quite a lot of information there. Would you be able to help us unpack that and demystify what Brendan's just said?
Yeah, I think Cloud Metro for us is a very large focus area. We're seeing the service providers' access and aggregation network change significantly in terms of its traffic patterns, its capacity needs, and also the architectures that we see there. But I think the major point that he's trying to make is that in order to make it sustainable for service providers to deliver new services and achieve profitable growth, they would need to really employ automation in a very significant way to make that possible, both in terms of provisioning services, but also in terms of how those services are then operated during their lifespan. So first of all, we see these changing traffic patterns. So we're seeing a lot more traffic in the access and aggregation network because of things like the advent of 5G, and also because of the additional access architectures that we're seeing, things like fiber to the home, fiber to the cabinets, etc., is driving a lot of additional traffic growth in the metro. So rather than everything being backhauled to the core, it's now being kept within the metro, and services are being delivered within the metro area.
Yeah. So Brendan also mentioned cloud-delivered automation as a service.
Yes.
How does this help improve customer experience?
Well, automation using various network management tools, element management systems has been around for many years, but those have typically been, localized and delivered on servers on the service provider's premises. What we're actually doing here is taking that automation capability and delivering it from the public cloud, or in this case, a dedicated cloud operated by Juniper. So whereas the service provider would normally have to have an automation system for their network locally on their site, we're now delivering that from the cloud. And that has a number of significant advantages in terms of our ability to scale that, and our ability to deliver new features very quickly, and our ability to add artificial intelligence to that automation system.
Okay, and I've heard automated test agents being mentioned. Are these related to the acquisition of NetRounds? Is that right?
Yes, very much so. In fact, the NetRounds is where we derived that technology from. So these automated test agents will sit in the network itself, sit in actual customer data streams, customer traffic streams, and allow us to be able to, in real time, measure the performance of those streams. So for example, you might have a customer video stream where they're consuming some video on demand, we'd actually be able to sit in the traffic path and monitor the service level agreement or SLA of that video path, make sure that it's being delivered according to its requirements and according to the SLA that the service providers delivered to the customer.
Does that include AI? Like we've got AI-driven enterprise, but it's a very strong element. Where does that fit in with Cloud Metro?
Yeah, as I mentioned, because we're delivering it from the cloud, it allows us to use those artificial intelligence techniques much more widely. And obviously AI is very closely related to something called machine learning. Now, machine learning is taking lots and lots of traffic inputs and event inputs from, and actually learning from those to provide a better experience. And because we're doing this in the cloud, it actually allows us to take that machine learning from lots of different networks, lots of different customers, and build a much more effective machine learning engine, which is then used to deliver that AI. The more customers and the more traffic patterns and the more events you can feed into your machine learning engine, the better AI you can deliver on the back end to give improved customer experience.
Awesome. And with AID, it's easy to talk about the outcome of improved user experience. But so in respect to experience-driven networking, how does AI improve the client experience?
Well, quite simply, I mean, you're either talking initially about provisioning the service, so a service provider is provisioning their service initially for the customer, so we can look at any problems or faults that might occur when that's happening, and we can use AI to eliminate those. So things like configuration errors that are normally related to humans. But then once you've delivered the service, then you want to monitor that service to make sure it's providing the level of customer experience that you'd want, and we can use our AI techniques to ensure that that's the case. And then finally, if something breaks, which often things do, you want to use AI as a method to anticipate that failure might happen, and hopefully be able to proactively stop that from happening. Or if a failure does happen, how do you apply machine learning and artificial intelligence techniques to make sure that fault is rectified as quickly as possible.
Could I ask you about the BNG cups model? Slight change of subject, but could you help us understand that a bit more?
Yeah, I think the way that BNG or broadband network gateway types of technologies have been delivered in the past is very much related to how we authenticate users on the network, how we say the kinds of services they can connect to. And that model has been, you have the user plane where you actually have the user traffic, and then you have a control plane which is controlling that traffic. What we actually do with BNG cups, and cup stands for control and user plane separation, is we actually centralize the control plane. So rather than it being part of the network itself, it can be pushed into a centralized control mechanism. So on the new ACX platform series, we're intending on doing cups such that we still keep the traffic on the ACX-based access and aggregation network, or our Metro Cloud as we're calling it. And then, but we kind of offload the control plane to a centralized, very scalable server architecture, which in itself can be distributed, but it provides a much greater scalability for your end user traffic.
Excellent, thanks, Colin. So our viewers will probably notice this is a very service provider focused conversation. But what I want to ask is, do any of these platforms fit into an enterprise play?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The ACX portfolio can very much be used for enterprise networks. This particular Cloud Metro launch was really focused on service providers, but those platforms could be used in enterprise-wide area networks in the same way. The MX204, which we mentioned at the beginning of our conversation, is probably another platform that's very applicable to that. And as we said, it's still going to be available. So, a combination of various MX platforms and/or ACX can be used in enterprise-wide area networks. Yes.
Excellent. So, to summarize our conversation, what do you think would be one takeaway point for our service provider customers?
Well, Cloud Metro does address the changing needs of the access and aggregation network. We're seeing much higher capacity. We're seeing different types of traffic patterns where traffic is staying much more within the metro and not being backhauled to the core. And this new architecture we're delivering with Cloud Metro allows them to deliver services much more quickly, much more scalably, and also use AI driven automation from the cloud to actually provide a very high level of customer experience.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Colin.
You're very welcome.
A great insight, and thank you for watching also. I think we look forward to seeing you and some of our viewers at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. But yeah, you've been watching Nomios 101. It's Colin Evans from Juniper. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.